Tony, thanks for talking to us.
Welcome.
We just want to have a quick chat about the IPO and the results. Are you satisfied with how both have gone?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the IPO was a tremendous success. I think, as you know, there was a fair amount of skepticism before we launched the IPO about our ability to launch, given where the markets were. And I think we're very satisfied with the response we had. Very strong support from institutional investors and also the retail sector here in Singapore. So very happy. Glad it's behind us, to be honest, because it was a bit of a distraction. And we're back to running the airline now. And I think you've seen with the third quarter results that we've put out today, we had some very, very solid results, some very good profitability. And you know, the great thing is that both our businesses now, both Singapore and Australia, are trading profitably, and they're contributing to a good, solid result for the group.
One of the things that people have been looking at Tiger is you've not been very successful in establishing bases apart from Australia. You look at your competitors, they've been putting their flag in several places, so to speak. Yeah. What you appear to have now a slowly approach. How are you going to go about doing this, and what's going to be the strategy?
I wouldn't call it slowly. I'd call it a profitable approach. I mean, the approach we've taken is that each of the airlines, we call them Cubs, Tiger Cubs, has to become profitable before you start the next one. And I think the land grab, the map, pins in the map, it's expensive, and if you keep airlines losing money for many, many years, it's not particularly productive for the shareholders. So our approach is that you make an airline profitable, you reinvest the earnings from that airline in the next airline, and you keep growing your group accordingly. So look, Singapore turned profitable after 3 years. Australia has been profitable now after 18 months of operation, and that means we can now start looking at where the next airline will be in the group, and we have started that process. Clearly, there are a lot of opportunities around the region. A lot of people have come forward and said, you know what, we like Tiger's model and we'd like to be a part of it. So we're getting a lot of people coming forward who'd like to be partners of ours with JVs and so on. And really the trick now is to pick the right opportunity in the right market with the right execution strategy so that we can grow the business and add another profitable airline to our group portfolio.
Finally, one of the things people look at Tiger and say it suffers from a bit of a brand or an image problem. It's maybe not as sexy as some of your competitors, for example. Does it frustrate you? And what is the Tiger brand?
Well, it's the cheapest airfares, and I think we do that bit very well. I mean, I think if you talk to consumers, whether it's here in Singapore or in Australia, people know we're the cheapest in the market. Our website here in Singapore is consistently the #1 visited website for travel in Singapore. So look, I don't think we have a brand image problem per se. I think people know what we stand for. It's low fares, but we're not going to spend a lot of money and waste our customers' money on putting our logo on the side of a Formula One racing car or on airplanes that can fly to London. It's just not what we're about. We're about offering reliability, service, amazingly low fares on short-haul services both in Asia and in Australia, and I think people know that's what we stand for.
Just one last question, if I could just get a reaction to the Jetstar AirAsia alliance that was announced earlier this year. What's your reaction to that?
Well, look, I think it was a lot of hot air, to be honest. I think you've seen already that the actions of the parties are probably speaking louder than the words they spoke a few weeks ago. The timing was obviously coincidental, right in the middle of our IPO. But, I think the announcements you've seen, whether it be Jetstar buying a different kind of engine to AirAsia or AirAsia actually going into Vietnam to compete against Jetstar Pacific, I mean, those are all things that don't look particularly alliance-like to me. So we're not taking it too seriously. We're much more focused on our business. We'd rather have control over our costs. We don't want to have to compromise with other people. We're about managing our cost base down, and we believe we can best do that organically. So we're focused on our business, and if they want to fool around signing interesting agreements with each other, that's up to them.
Tony, thank you very much for talking to Fly Global.